So in this video, I will discuss how I was able to use just one light to transform this scene into this. So hi everyone, this is Jiggie, a portrait and wedding photographer from the Philippines, and welcome to the channel. So before anything else, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel and would want to learn more about off-camera flash photography or maybe just photography in general, then this channel is for you. So you might want to consider subscribing, and while you're at it, click that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And in case you want to see more of my images, you could also find me on Instagram. It's at Jiggie Alejandrino. So in this video, I am once again taking you behind the scenes in one of my engagement shoots. I will actually discuss one layout and show you how I was able to bring out all the cloud detail just using my flash. So this is the scene that I was shooting in. We were actually in a sandbar, and as you can see here, I was actually wearing a life vest because to be able to get to that sandbar, we had to take a small boat. Now, we had a little time here before the sun would actually set, but unfortunately, as you can see, we really had a cloudy day. Now, having a cloudy day is not necessarily that bad because we know that we could bring out some details here, but we would need a flash in order for us to underexpose the scene and bring out all the details in the highlights. So, the camera that I used here was my Sony a7R Mark II, and the lens is a 16-35 f4 lens, and the light that I use is this one. This is my Photix Indra 500. What is this one? This is basically a portable studio strobe that's battery operated. As you can see here, this is the battery pack for this one. And this is a Bowens mount. What is a Bowens mount? It's basically the most universal mount for all flash modifiers. However, in this particular shoot, I decided not to use any of those conventional modifiers like softboxes and octoboxes because I wanted my light to be more directional. So I decided to use this one. This is a standard reflector that comes with a kit, but I used also a grid like this one. A grid basically focuses the light, and as you saw in the final image, I basically just wanted my light focused on the subject. Now, the other things to consider during this is the camera angle. I had my camera angle pretty low only because I wanted to get a bit of reflection from the floor. Unfortunately, you'll see actually in the final image, I made a mistake there. But so let me actually show you. So this is a straight out of camera image. Absolutely no editing has been done to this image yet. And you can see here what I was talking about. The reason why, again, I use this particular modifier, the standard reflector with a grid, was so that I can focus the light just on them and not really have too much spill over here. Unfortunately, this is the mistake that I was saying. I wasn't able to get the full reflection. That I actually cut their head off here. You know, these are mistakes that normally I see afterwards, how I wish I was able to actually see it on the spot. But hey, everybody makes mistakes, right? But fortunately, I think the image itself, you know, nitpicking, it could have been better if I had the heads and the reflection there, but it doesn't really degrade the image too much. Okay, so I had my angle really low here, thinking that I would get this reflection, but I focused more on this one. And since I was using a 16-35 lens, you could see that distortion was controlled only on the sides. That's why I put them at center. So even though I was shooting at a very low angle, there was hardly any distortion in terms of their height, their legs, and their heads. They still look very proportional, as you can see here. But the distortion that was caused by the lens also helped in basically pointing towards the subject. Okay, now here is the final processed image. All I did was really just lift the shadows a bit and change my white balance into a warmer tone. Now you could see here in the straight out of the camera image, there wasn't really any warm tone in the scene. That's why it allowed me to actually shoot with this one in its natural color. In other words, I did not have to gel my light because the light at this time was about 5600 Kelvin also anyway, since it was a very cloudy day and the sunset wasn't really that great. Now, what were my settings here? I actually shot this at f13 1/250 and about 2 stops underexposed. What do I mean by 2 stops underexposed? My existing ambient light was 2 stops underexposed in order for me to bring out the details here in the sky, the highlights that would otherwise have been blown out if I properly exposed further image. As you can see here in the behind the scenes photo, you can have it properly exposed, but you will really blow out all the highlights here in the skies. So by having your ambient light, your existing ambient light, 2 stops underexposed, you will then put your subjects in shadow, and that's where the purpose of my light was, to illuminate my subjects. And from there, since everything was properly exposed and the colors are all the same, all I needed to do was really shift my white balance, lift the shadows a little bit since I was shooting in RAW, straighten my horizon, and get this beautiful image. Okay? So just to recap, basically the first thing that I did was expose for my ambient light. So when I exposed for my ambient light, I then put them in shadow and I illuminated them using this one. This is a 500 watt light. However, you might be asking me, do I really need a 500 watt light, or what was my flash power? But flash power won't really matter for you guys to know because it depends on the situation. But in which case, I still will tell you, I think I set this one at about 1/4 or 1/8 power at that time because it was at f13. So I didn't really need the 500 watt flash. You could have really used a couple of speed lights or maybe a 200 watt flash or a 250 watt flash. It really depends. Or if I didn't have enough power, then maybe I would have put the light closer and then afterwards just cloned it out in post. As you can see here anyway, I actually removed some of the distractions like the people here and this stick there to make it cleaner. Now, the important thing was the fact that I was able to control my highlights and focus my light on the subject. And again, my settings were f13 1/250 ISO 100. Oh, I forgot to discuss why was I at f13, because I didn't want to shoot in high speed sync. So 1/250 was my shutter speed, and that is my flash sync speed. Oh, and I triggered everything using this one, the Photix Odin light. Okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do consider subscribing to the channel, and while you're at it, click that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Now, if you guys want to learn more about off-camera flash photography, I do hold one-on-one online workshops, the details of which I will put in the description below. And if you want to see more of my images, you could always find me on Instagram. It's at Jiggie Alejandrino. Okay? Till the next video.